This is another episode of Get to Know Filmmaking, and in today's episode of Get to Know Filmmaking, we'll be discussing really deep about camera moves. So today I'll be looking at a movie named Aliens. You might be knowing it. It is directed by James Cameron and I just really like it. I've seen it multiple times and I've tried to find what camera moves depict what kind of an emotion, and by doing this task it is very good exercise and task to really learn what camera moves should you use in your short films and how you can build your films much better with really meaningful camera moves. And don't think this that I am always amateur, like I'm amateur, but learning is a part of filmmaking and it's really fun. So before even beginning the video, I just want to throw away this disclaimer that this video does not cover the whole movie. I am really deep into how should I select these camera movements. So I have selected some of the camera movements from the beginning of the movie. So don't expect everything to be covered in the movie, the whole movie, but I'll be covering a lot of different camera moves. So without further ado, let's begin. So I have noticed in the beginning of the movie that there are a lot of roaming camera. Like camera would be roaming around in a location and then come to the main subject. By doing so, it is a really good way to establish a location and a kind of a mystery. Now this mystery is very important for this film. Why? Because it is about aliens, so there should be a factor of mystery even where there are no aliens. So roaming around camera is really good for, in the beginning, roaming helps location feel. Also it makes tension, mystery. It is good introduction shot. That's what I wrote and I really think that is a good thing. So the next camera move is following motion. A following motion can be a really cliche camera move because you follow one character and just the camera just follows that character, but it is really helpful to really fix the audience to a particular character. If a protagonist has to be shown walking in a ground and you have to focus on the protagonist, how are you going to show it? You cannot be just showing this, that your camera is moving according to some other thing and you're saying that you're following the protagonist. The audience feels this and follows that person who is being followed by the camera, because the audience is actually seeing through the lens of the camera. Simple. So the following motion is really simple camera technique, like really simple. The next camera move is, I actually don't wear glasses, so it was just kind of joke. The next camera move is a pan reveal. What do I mean by pan reveal? I've already talked about pan, tilt, pedestrian and a boom or a crane in my camera basics video. So in this video we are talking about this pan. Like this is one of the ways you can use pan to pan and to reveal a location. In Aliens it is done by location, like establishing the location of the space station by panning from the earth to the space station. Really simple. It's just a location establishment shot, and don't ever do anything without establishing your location. Well, you can do, but actually it is nice and really safe to play it according to how they have done so, because you don't know what you're doing in the beginning of your career. So it is better to follow than to really make your own thing, because you can make, but follow. Knowing the rules is good. So the next camera move is switching character by character. This is something which is really interesting for me, because the camera follows a character and then it switches character without cutting. So this is really good if you have to establish a location, you have to throw a lot of dialogue towards the audience, and you have to show the protagonist walking into a space. So this kind of a camera move really helps, because the camera is just switching between characters smoothly. So there is no cut required for you to do, or else you'll have to do a lot of cuts. You have to have a like a wide shot for establishment and all that kind of a crap which nobody really needs. Like, you can do a character switch by switch in Aliens. When Ripley is being found from cryo sleep, they switch between the nurse, the guy who comes, and Ripley, and by that you can just establish the room where she is, and she's on the bed. So like that you have established that hospital room, or the hospital in space, and that room, that space which you have established. So it's really good for establishment in a smoother way. There you go. When you are in close-up, like handheld shake is just a common thing. You take the camera and you're shooting at everything, but a handheld close-up can be really different, because handheld close-ups really depict a different emotion. You don't really have a handheld close-up all the time, because if you have all the time, then it means you don't have a tripod. Like amateur filmmaking. So a close-up with a handshake, not a handshake, a close-up with a shaking camera really energizes the scene when you have to show something. Like when Ripley has that alien coming out of her stomach, we have the close-up with slow motion, but you have the close-up with handheld camera, showing the energy and the urgency in that scene. So what I think is that in Aliens it is used in a urgent manner. When you have to show something urgent, when you have to show something a little more energetic, you show a close-up and then you shake the camera. Really good. And that's how you get an energetic scene. Sorry if it was humiliating. The next camera move is handheld conversation with movement. What does that mean? What does handheld conversation with movement means? Oh, and handheld establishment. Oh, a handheld conversation with movement really means the camera is in the hand of someone and you're switching between characters when they are throwing the dialogues in front of each other. This is important, or you can do this because you have to show dialogues fast. When that guy from that company is talking to Ripley about the aliens and all that, aliens, not aliens, but the location, they switch between characters not by cutting, but actually switching the camera from one character to the other. By doing so, you don't have to cut. You can always cover the dialogue like this, but don't do it like really a lot of times, because that can be a really bad thing. In Whiplash, in the last scene where he's playing the drum and the instructor is giving a lot of instructions, we see this the switching between the characters, but that is not handheld, but it is switching between the characters so they don't have to cut, and it was kind of stylistic and really gave the whole scene a little more depth and a little more quality. Yeah. The next camera move which I want to talk about is tilt for simple motion. Like anything which has to have a motion going up, like a space station in Stanley Kubrick's movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, where there's a spacecraft which is rotating. You can always use a tilt, showing the thing going up and down by moving the camera according to that subject which is moving in a manner where you have to use tilt. It is good. Like, it relates or it connects with that movement of following an object. That's it. It is really that, but it is just a tilt. So there you go. The next camera movement is a zoom. A zoom. A zoom is a thing which Stanley Kubrick used a lot of time, I remember. But in Aliens, it is used in a manner where you have to show a little more urgency and a little more energizing close-up, where you have to energize quickly. In that situation, he uses a zoom. Yeah, it is really it's really functional and it is really simple. You just have to zoom digitally or optically into the character or towards whatever you have to show. It can also really allow you to show a specific thing specifically so that audience doesn't miss it. It's like, don't miss that thing, it is really important. So that's all for this video. See you in the next video. The lights just went off. I just don't know. I have this light. That's all for this video. This were the whole things which I saw in the beginning of Aliens. This is not a complete compilation of all the scenes which are there, because it will take a lot of time and the video will be like crazy long. So yeah, I hope this was really helpful. See you in the next video and talk to you there.